Hey, what's up guys? It's HoveringBanana, back with another Rocket League trading video for you guys. And in this one we're going to be talking about the updated Player's Choice Crate and how that affects the trading scene. So if you missed out on the news, about 5 days ago Sonex decided to change the Player's Choice Crate. They removed a bunch of rares and very rares, replaced them, as well as the Voltaic wheels got replaced for Draco wheels. Now this change comes shortly after the release of the Nintendo Switch version of Rocket League, so I imagine that this has to do with that. As for the change itself, I'm not a huge fan. The Player's Choice Crate, the contents were voted for by the community, so it feels a bit weird that they go against this and just change the contents for themselves, so it leaves a bit of bad taste in your mouth. But in terms of trading, the Player's Choice Crate was already a very popular crate because the items were voted for by the community, so it was basically a popularity contest. It fell on PC at about like the third most popular crate, behind Nitro at second and then the CC4 at first place. However, with this change we might see the Player's Choice Crate bumped up to second place, and when it's retired I wouldn't be surprised with the Player's Choice Crate being more popular than the CC4. So just keep that in mind in terms of trading. I'm holding on to my Player's Choice Crates because I'm expecting the ratios to get a bit better, especially when they're retired. The CC4 has been retired for quite some time and we're now seeing ratios of 1 to 4 on PC. So one key gets you 4 CC4 crates and that's really good. So you could potentially see some better things coming out of the Player's Choice Crate. In terms of the actual contents of the crates, you're not going to see too much movement in terms of the rares. They're just so commonplace and the demand for them isn't crazy high. So we aren't going to see many price changes occurring with those. If there was a very popular item in there, such as the Octane Lone Wolf, you may see changes in price there, but unfortunately we don't have one of those items in this crate. Then we move on to the very rares, same sort of thing with the distortions, they're being removed. There's just so many of them in the market at the moment without crazy amounts of demand, so you won't be seeing much movement in terms of those. Don't go around hoarding as many distortion decals as you can, thinking they'll go shoot up in price or something. But then we move on to some very rares that have a bit more impact, and that is the inclusion of the Septum wheels as well as the Hex Phase boost. These are decently popular items, but unfortunately their price range is a bit low, most of them going for about 1 to 2 keys. And now that they've been added to the Player's Choice Crate, they're now available in 2 crates, so you should see them enter the market at a higher rate than before, and that could mean that their price shoots down a bit. But like I said, they go for about 1 to 2 keys. So let's say they were going to go down by 10%, that's barely noticeable on an item with such a low price. If it was something more expensive with like 50 to 100 keys, 10% then makes a big difference on that kind of change. But then we move on to the big change with this updated crate, and that is the removal of the Voltaic wheels and the addition of Dracos. So let's start off with the Voltaic wheels. You can no longer get them from Player's Choice Crates and instead have to get them from CC2s. So you might see CC2 crates take a bit of a rise, but I'm not too certain on that. In terms of the pricing of the wheels, you may see a bit of a hype train attached to them in the coming weeks. Maybe they rise by a few keys. We've already seen the Crimson Voltaics rise in a few keys on PC. I think I bought mine for about 23 keys and they've risen to around 30. You're seeing people trying to sell them for 50, hoping that the hype is catching on. The reason the Crimson Volts have been the only one to rise is because they used to be the most expensive non-alpha wheel in the game before the days of the White Zomba, White Draco, White Apex wheels. So we're probably seeing a lot of hype attached to them at the moment and people hoping that they're gonna rise up to be another top tier wheel. Another change we might see is people paying more for Player's Choice Crate Voltaics than CC2 version. Reason being that you can no longer get the Player's Choice Crate version, and that is now a fancy, collector's version. We saw this with the CC4 Zombas opposed to the Player's Choice Crate version, with the CC4 being the retired version and the Player's Choice Crate still being active. And that's a change I really hate. Don't like people paying more for a little bit of text change in their game that hardly affects anything. But I do think it's a good possibility we're going to see that sort of impact on the market. So with the removal of Voltaics comes the inclusion of Draco wheels, and like I mentioned with the Septums and the Hex phases, we now have 2 options to get Draco wheels, and Draco wheels are a lot more expensive, so a 10% or 20% change could mean a lot. think of white Dracos, they go for about 110 keys on PC. 10% of that is 11 keys, so that's quite a big hit if they do change like that. As you can see in my inventory, I've got a lot of Dracos. I've got 2 white ones. I think I picked them up for 50 keys, and I've made 120 in total on these. So that's some good profit, but I might look to sell them now. I don't think they're going to rise any further. I've also got a lot of striker ones, but those are going to take me quite some time to sell. So maybe I have to wait for a later date when Dracos start rising, but we're just going to have to see on that one. And as for the black market decals, there's been no information that those have changed. Still look the same to me. So that pretty much wraps up all the changes in the Player's Choice Crate. Let me know down in the comments, what are your thoughts? Do you like these changes? What are some of your price predictions? Do you have any ideas why they might make this change? And if you like Rocket League content, especially trading content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But as always guys, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.